I'm 5 years old and I feel very proud. My father has just built the best outhouse in our little village in Ukraine. Inside, it's just a smelly, gaping hole in the ground, but outside, it's pearly white formica, and it literally gleams in the sun. That makes me so proud and so important that I appoint myself the leader in our little group of friends, and I devise mission for us. So we prowl from house to house looking for flies captured in spider nets, and we set them free. 4 years earlier, I was one after Chernobyl accident. Rain came down black, and my sister's hair fell out in clumps, and I spent 9 months in the hospital. There were no visitors allowed, so my mom bribed a hospital worker and acquired a nurse uniform, and she snuck in every night to sit by my side. 5 years later, an expected silver lining thanks to Chernobyl, we get asylum in the US. I am 6 years old and I don't cry when we leave home and come to New York, because I expected it to be a place with rare and wonderful things like bananas and chocolate and bazooka bubble gum. Bazooka bubble gum with the little cartoon wrappers inside, and bazooka that we get once a year in Ukraine, and we would have to chew one piece for the entire week. The first day we get to New York, my grandmother and I found a penny in the floor of a homeless shelter, only we don't know that it's a homeless shelter. That we think it's a hotel with lots of rats. And we find this penny sort of fossilized in the floor, and we think that a very wealthy man must have left it there, because regular people don't just lose money. And I'm holding the penny in a palm of my hand. It's sticky and rusty, but it feels like I'm a millionaire. And I decide that I would get my own very piece of bazooka bubble gum, and in that moment it makes me feel like I'm a millionaire. So I get to feel that way again when we find a bag full of stuffed animals in the trash, and suddenly I have more toys than I've ever had in my whole life. Again, I got that feeling when we find a knock on the door of our apartment in Brooklyn, and my sister and I find delivery man with box of pizza. So we took the pizza, our very first pizza, and we devoured slice after slice as the delivery man stands there and stares us from the doorway. And he tells us to pay, but we don't speak English. And my mom comes out and he asked her for money, but she doesn't have enough. She walks to and from work 50 miles every day just to avoid spending money on bus fares. And then our neighbors pops her head in and when she turns red with rage when she realizes that those immigrants have somehow gotten their hands on her pizza. Everyone's upset, but the pizza is so delicious. It doesn't hit us until many years later that how just little we had. On our 10-year anniversary of being in the US, we decided to celebrate by reserving a room in a hotel we first stayed in when we get to New York, and a man at the front desk laughs and says, "You can't reserve a room here. This is a homeless shelter," and we were shocked. My husband Brian was also once homeless as a kid when his family lost everything, and at the age 11 he had to live in motels with his father, motels that rounds up all of their food and keep them hostage until they are able to pay the bill. And one time when he finally got the box of frosted flakes back, it was crawling with roaches. But he did have one thing. He had this shoebox that he carries with everywhere, containing 9 comic books, 2 G.I. Joes, painted to look like Spider-Man, and 5 gobots. And this is his treasure. This is his very own assembly of heroes that kept him from drugs and gangs and from giving up on his dreams. I want to tell you about one more formerly homeless member of our family. This is Scarlett. Scarlett was used as bait for dog fights. So she was tied up and thrown into the ring for other dogs to attack so that they get more aggressive before the fight. Now these days she eats organic food and sleeps on an orthopedic bed with her name on it, but she when we pour water for her in her bowl, she She still looks up and wags her tail in gratitude. And sometimes Brian and I walk through the park with Scarlett, and she rolls through the grass, and we look at her and we look at each other, and we feel gratitude. Forget about all of our new middle class frustrations and disappointments, and we feel like millionaires.